This video is to show the route that a soul usually travels from birth to into the baby stages, into the teens, and the cycles that can happen. If we have on the left, we have this represent the oneness or the one being, and out of the oneness, the soul travels along the path of involution toward awareness. This is awareness over here, and say this could also represent the earth. And after the involution comes the evolution, the conscious choice of kindness or of awareness, development of awareness. And a lot of times what happens is society will provide a lot of learning, different kinds of learning for the soul to develop upon and see and progress towards. But at a certain point in a lot of families and in a lot of cultures and communities, they haven't shown that there's more to life than just the physical world. So the soul, sensing that there's more than it's being presented with, that there's lessons it's not getting from the school and from their friends and the classes. At that point, they'll go through a crisis and they'll crash and burn. So the evolutionary pathway, they'll crash and burn, and what they'll do is they'll descend, or they'll go back to the involutionary pathway, which is destruction and sub 200 power level actions, and they'll go further and further away from the oneness, back toward the physical world, back toward the unmoving physical and deadening aspects of life. So they'll rebel. The teens will rebel. They'll hit the most extreme away from the oneness. The whole thing is oneness. The whole thing is the one being. But this side of it is less of the awareness, conscious awareness of the oneness. This is less of the conscious awareness. This is like the opposite extreme of the oneness over here, of the oneness without form, formless awareness, the state of oneness. And this is again, this is still oneness over here because it's all one being, but this is less a state of oneness and more just physicality. Oneness in form. Okay, so once the being hits the most extreme aspect of the oneness, again, it goes on the pathway of evolution. Again, this is like the teen years, the baby growing after identity and individuality and sense of self. It develops. If society has provided a pathway and a lesson plan of learning about spirituality and beyond, then a lot of times around the age of 28, the soul will have completed its spiritual learning. And at that point, after it's developed a sense of self in the spiritual sense, they can even go further and further and eventually hit oneness, or the one being, knowledge of self as it, the one. So that's the pathway. Out of the oneness, the soul, or it could be a plant, it could be a human. Eventually, the human on a path of involution through the dark ages and sub 200 power level actions, it learns and it hits the most extreme of pain and suffering, or of motionless, of just physicality. And again, it travels back through it, becomes aware of kindness, and this could also be the positive path, service to others, and also the negative path, service to self. Both are evolutionary paths, and at a certain point, the negative or the service to self path has to transform into the service to others, because the recognition of other as self merges the two into, and the positive path, service to self, service to others, and service to self merge, because all are seen as self. And it's at that point It's all service to other